So what we're going to do is we're going to start with a short fashion show. We're going to start with a new color. We're going to start with a logo. This is Miss Cotton. This is a cotton garb. It's a very simple design. You do not wear it with a jubon. You do not wear it with, it's very, very simple. This originated from actually going to bathe. This is what you'd wear instead of silk. She has a hanhaba obi tied in a flat drum knot. The flattened drum knot, so this actually rides very well in a car. You can drive around, it's very comfortable. And it's very inexpensive. This is not a very expensive ensemble. From that, we would move up to a kimono, which is blue. A kimono is a patterned kimono. It has a pattern over the whole thing. So to do that, it's very simple. This one's actually a woven pattern. It is tied with a fukuro obi rather than a hanhaba. And this is a classic drum knot, a taiko musubi. I especially like this obi because it's very colorful, and I'm colorblind, so it drives me nuts. From here, we would move into a tomosote. This is actually an abstract tomosote. What indicates that it's tomosote is the pattern across the back. So you have the pattern around the hem, you have a pattern, where's your arm? Pattern on the sleeves, hold your arms up, you see how the pattern replicates on the sleeves, and that indicates that this is a tomosote. So this is the type of thing you could wear to a formal dinner, that kind of thing. If you're going to a wedding, you would wear a kuro tomosote, which is a black tomosote that has the pattern. But this is a Nagoya obi. This being a little fussy tonight.
We're just gonna let that go.
So we're just gonna let it hang. It normally sits up.
It's not straight.
It normally sits up like this, but it's being a little fussy tonight, so we're just gonna let that one go. This one is a little short, it's older, and everything, the older stuff tends to be shorter and not as long. So with this, we have a nice blue obiage and a Clemson orange obijime. Just for you, because Clemson.
I'm from Miami. It'll be funnier.
Oh, well, that works for me. From there, we would move up to the Fury set. This is the Fury set. This is the queen of the collection. Again, you have a fukuro obi. This is a highly decorative, formal fukuro obi. The rust red, I think, obijime. Underneath, you can just see the collar, which this collar is actually sewn on. You don't actually leave it there. And her knot is tied as a taki. So this is a knot you only see with Furisote. What the Furisote, the long sleeves, represent is the fact that she's marriageable. That's only allowed to women who are available for marriage. So that's how that works. And then with that, we'll bring up the uchikake. So I'm going to get you well forward so people can see. The uchikake actually has a padded hem.
Talk louder, Will.
The uchikake actually has a padded hem. Can everybody hear me in the back, or y'all have? All right. The uchikake has a padded hem, and it's designed to actually drag on the floor. So when she walks into the shrine to have her wedding ceremony, it actually drags behind her. Under this, she'd wear a kakeshita, which is more in line with what we think of as a regular kimono. There's several layers that go with this. This is of the Furisote style. As you said, it has a very intricate woven pattern, and is often considered the last Furisote a woman would wear, because after the ceremony, she's no longer marriageable. So you don't get to wear Furisote. You tuck them away, you save them, so that one day your daughter gets to wear them. They're passed down. This one didn't get passed down, they sent it to me, because they're all crazy. Any questions on anything you've seen so far? Yes?
So I know Girls' Day, or Coming of Age Day, you turn 20. So are sewed after you turn 20, though?
It's because it's not based on whether you're an adult. It's based on whether you're marriageable. Now, even little children will wear Furiosity, and I have one, child's Furiosity. It's the cutest little thing. It's only about that tall. It's adorable. But again, that's obviously not saying the child's marriageable. The child's just trying to play through. Once you have coming of age day, then you have to get a job and work and do all that stuff, but they still expect you to get married. So it's two separate functions.
Is the pattern on this, is that a bird? Or
Yes.
is it
This
a
is
crane?
it the heron or the crane? I think this is the,
Looks like a crane.
It's a crane.
it's a crane.
I'm pretty sure most of them are cranes because it's an auspicious symbol in Japan.
And you'll see after the ceremony, she switches from a white Furiosity to either red or green, sometimes blue. And you'll often see wheels as well as cranes. Because wheels are a sign of the cyclical nature of fortune, good fortune. So, of course, they also have a strong expectation that your wedding gifts will be cash. Any other questions? Yes.
If you're a Lolita fashion, by the kimono, is a kimono. I thought there was a kimono-looking Lolita fashion.
I'm sorry, you're going to have to ask that one more time.
There is asking about the Lolita kimono.
So a lolly, like a, okay, that's Wallalita, I think it is. So basically what they've done is they just take you could actually take this kimono and do everything exactly the same. It's just once you know where to cut it, you cut the bottom part off, and when it goes around the dress, it'll splay open at the dress. So it's an actual kimono. They just cut it really short and let it splay open at the dress. If I see you with scissors, I'm gonna panic. You know that. So that's how. And there's actually a company called Yokodano that sell kimono by the pound in Maryland. So if you really want to try that, you can buy them rather inexpensively from Yokodano, cut to your heart's content. Once you master the towel, then do it for real. Questions? Yes.
What's the oval cherry blossom festival?
We have 6 cherry blossom. We have 6 trees, and the Jewel Box Park is the town park, and so it's just a little short festival we came up with because, quite frankly, I'm tired of driving to Washington D.C. But they're quite beautiful. It's a beautiful setting, and I do believe peak is probably going to be either Sunday or Monday. And so you just come out and you sit underneath the trees, you enjoy the falling petals, and pack a bento and have a good time.
I know how to pack a bento.
As you can tell. So
I mean, if you want to come, girl, I'll make you one. I got 2 sets. We can be all cute. I can be waifu. I got you.
You are unstable. Any other questions?
Are there any special jackets you can wear with kimono?
No, they're not. So,
Good to know.
so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and tie her in. Because right now she's running around in her underwear underneath this. So this is the jubon. There you go. Very graceful. So I'm going to take this. So what you're seeing, this is a jubon. Just throw that right there somewhere. This is a jubon. So this is an undergarment, and there are a few neat little tricks that they've come up with over the years. But you're not an actor. So one thing you notice is that the color's a little different. This is actually just a piece of silk, and you sew it on so that you can use one jubon with several different kimono. You just switch the color. You'll notice this color is more golden. The jubon is pink. This color is more blue. The jubon is not. And I can switch those colors around based on whatever I need to do. One of the things we do to keep a nice stiff collar, because this collar is the foundation of everything else, is there's a piece of plastic shoved in there. That's why you sew it over. When you slide that plastic in, it gives you a nice shapely collar, keeps it firm, keeps it crisp. The collar itself is called a honary. Plastic insert is called an airy shin, or basically collarbone. Around this, we use several things. This is a koshihimo. It's just a little cotton tie. We tie it with that. We then use and it's really tough. The word they use in Japanese is really tough. They call it a magic belt. I'm not kidding. That's exactly what they call it. We use the magic belt to give everything a little bit of stability and foundation. Part of kitsuke, which this is all kitsuke, is shaping the body. Kimono do not like curves. They like cylinders. Most people are not cylinders. So we have to do sneaky things like fill in places where the body turns. So this is actually a pad that just straps on, filling like the small of the back. If you have somebody that has very broad hips, you would have to actually add a little on each side to fill that. So you actually add a little padding to control things. For this, yes?
So do you say you have somebody with a very large chest? Would you add padding in the front then, or would you still add padding in the back?
Actually, they have thought of that. And because they're cruel, they make a thing called a kimono bra. It doesn't pad.
Well, it pads up here
It compresses.
and compresses here.
So this is actually a very constrictive, almost like an ethical bra. It really cranks down and compresses
Is
things.
it almost like a
So it's just
binder?
called a kimono bra?
It's like wearing a corset, except on your chest, and
And-
you can't breathe.
Even with this, they give you little pads to control the shape. Make sure it's as flat as it can be. However, it's not a big deal because the obi, which is the key part that doesn't like curves, the top of the obi goes just below the breast. So you have a lot of latitude. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions so far? I keep walking in front of your camera close range.
You're fine.
We do have presents to give away before y'all leave, by the way. So, padding is important. Padding is how you control the shape of the body, keep things attractive. The other thing is the whole point of the exercise is to produce sensuality, not sexuality. And the back of the neck is considered the most sensual part of the body, which is why we always pull the collar away to show that off. If you're trying to be chaste and staid a little bit, and part of the reason why the yukata is a little bit closer to the neck, it's more casual. So you'd only do like 2 fingers. You would pinch it and measure about 2 or 3 fingers. If you look at the Maiko, the apprentice geisha, their collar is pulled about 2.5 fists. It's almost parallel to the ground. They pull it back so that's a way that you can convey sensuality. Any questions on what you've seen so far? All right, let me get some clips. Crap, I have it. I almost carried this whole thing over there.
Are you excited you finally get to try this? For your buddy there.
All right. So we've done all the under kimono. We're good there. We're ready to go with the over kimono. This is the last type that I'm going to show you tonight. This is a Irobonchi. What it means is it's just a solid color. This does have a textured pattern, but it is classed as an Irobonchi. There should be a little snap in here. Sometimes there's not. And you fold the collar over the back of the neck. This one does not have a snap, so it's going to be mean to take sleeve in the hand, drop the sleeve. This is the easiest way I found to get these on. All right, through it, drop the sleeve. Pinchers.
in your pants?
Nope. The rest of them should be in there.
Get it. You can find it under the bra.
Like that's my fault. I feel like I just got blamed.
Kid.
I'm a kid. Oh, by the way, guys, I can't hear.
Colorblind, yeah.
All right. So,
Easy target. Colorblind photographer.
oh, what? So, when you tie a kimono, you want to go for three things. And this is the easiest way I found to remember. You want to set the hem, then you want to set the collar, and then you tie the bow. So there are going to be little fussy things we're going to do to accomplish those, but those are the three very basic things we want to do. So to set the hem, I'm going to lift up, get you turn around for a minute. All right. In the back of the kimono, you should see this seam. And generally, but not always, but generally it runs from the neck to the hem. It will at least run from the waist to the hem. All right. Sometimes it's not in the back, but generally it's going to run from about here all the way down. And like with the old nylons during World War II, that seam has to be aligned. It has to be vertical. So we use this clip to pin it to keep it vertical. I'm going to get you to turn sideways. Thank you. So to set the hem, you take this and this in the front. You find the hem and the small in the back, and you just lift up to wherever you want. And that's about it. You then pull forward, lock it into place so it's not going to move around, and then you close it. Now here's the thing, and this is to the wearer's perspective. It will always be left over right. The easy way to remember it is leftover rice.
What do you like for dinner?
Leftover right.
Leftover rice.
So, the key is if you do it the other way, you're telling people you're dead.
Wait, what?
What?
Yeah, people do what?
That would be how a body would be dressed for.
If you do it
this
the other
funeral.
way, that means somebody else dressed you. And that's how they dress the dead. Right over left. That's how they dress the dead. So always do it left over
I'm
right.
not.
Imagine it's like you're doing it in a mirror, and because you're going to be putting it in the opposite way, it'll show that someone else dressed you, that you were not able to do it yourself. That's representing you passed on.
When you go to fold, you'll take this side and you'll lift up about 6 inches. This side, you'll lift up about 3. And then we're going to take a koshigimo, which is the cotton strap, which is your cotton strap.
Showing the cotton strap.
And you're just going to tie it. Making sure that you lift up to get the blousing in. I can't tie bows, so yeah. I'm also colorblind and deaf. I was such good friends to remind me of this. Okay, so now we do the blousing. We make sure the blousing is up. And we also take this opportunity to make sure that our seam is centered in the back and that our seam is still centered in the upper back. So a word on blousing, if you'd be so kind. This is blousing. This right here is blousing. So remember we tied the koshigimo underneath. We're going to cover that up by blousing it. There is a special word for that. I don't remember at the moment.
I think it starts with an O.
This is actually a wealth display. It shows you have enough money that you can afford a kimono that's long enough that you can do that. So it's wealth display. And apparently from what I'm told, it's a big bragging point. So that's what we're going to go for. Try to make it nice and flat and crisp. Really? Really? In front of everybody? Okay, so we've set the hem. If you have to turn for me. You can see the hem is set. And that's really all we have to do to do that.
And one of the goals would be to make sure that these gets lined up here.
What you really don't want to have is this one hanging down too far, and then you get that come over, drop down, come over. So you want to make sure it's lifted up. The top at this point should be very open and airy and plenty to work with.
We're gonna fix that in a minute.
Okay. Any questions about what you've seen so far? Okay. Now we need to set the collar. That was the second thing we need to do, is set the collar. So to do that, we are going to use a Korean belt. It's not Korean, it's not corn, even though we are from South Carolina. It's Korean. This is just,
Korean?
I said it wasn't that. This is just an elastic belt, and we use it to grab the collar and help this close up and stay closed. The way this works is you can't really wrap it on the outside and accomplish that task. But in women's kimono, there's a really neat little facet. The sleeve is open. The sleeve is open. So we can actually take the Korean belt actually give me the other one. And slip in that side. We can grab this alligator clips. It's pretty nasty. It's pretty nice. And you just grab it. There you go.
Hold.
And put it.
Try and hold it. Who's ready?
Does anybody see the floor? Does anybody see where I messed up?
I didn't see that very well, so what you did is you stuck in the armhole and then pushed it to...
So you see where it's clipped here, and we come around the back, and then we go into this armhole here, and it's clipped on the inside.
It kind of dives in here and catches in here.
All right.
So what did you do wrong?
The collar's not quite aligned. See how the collar is a little bit of a differential?
Oh, we didn't really follow that down. Is that part of it?
All right. Is everybody good with that?
I feel like this is a test.
It is a test. You see how I teach our training programs. All right, so again, we're gonna look at this blousing a little bit, kind of clean it up a little. We want to pull these wrinkles out. Make sure the back is nice and flat. Because right now there are wrinkles in it. Make sure our seam is nice and vertical. All right. So we want to try to get these little wrinkles out.
Bring everything to the sides.
Because you can hide them under the sleeves. All right. Any questions on anything you've seen so far? So set the hem and set the collar, yes?
Sorry, I have so many questions. I did notice something. Your sleeves don't touch your wrists. What's the rule of that?
A little bit taller.
Quite well nourished. I grew them oversized. One of the goals would be to have it cover your wrists, but
And in a minute, I'm actually going to show you what a bolted silk looks like, and it's going to make a little more sense on that point.
So it is supposed to touch the wrist.
Or not quite to the wrist, but closer than what you see. So the next thing we need is what's called an obi-ita. An obi-ita is just a plastic board that's covered in padding, because you can never have enough padding. This particular one has a nuisance piece of paper, straps on it. And what this does is it sits in front and keeps your obi from bending and crumpling and falling down. It's a very simple, it's just a latch,
he said belly armor.
just below the breast. All right.
now understand why they show an anime girls getting shot and being in clothes and surviving. This is why.
So they're loose.
Maybe it could be fire.
Of course, there's also the classic stereotype where you grab the end of the rope, you yank, and they go spinning off like a top.
Because that could totally happen.
Yeah. Just tighten it up. Well, let's tighten it up a little bit. I don't know. Can you tighten that up? So how many different kinds of knots are there for OB? Do you know?
I would say that. Others are.
6?
At least they counted.
Or more than 6?
Like 20?
Several hundred that I'm aware of.
Yes, does that make sense?
I make up new knots all the time.
There's something called sparrow knots, which are highly decorative knots. We'll just go with it. Again, this is another opportunity to pull out any wrinkles, make sure your seams are all aligned, and that you're good. Now, if you've got a problem with poofiness in your blousing like this, there is a little trick that we didn't do, that you can reach back in the sleeve and the careen belt, lift the material up and tuck it underneath the careen belt. It'll take some of that poofiness out.
Well, it's pretty well evenly distributed, so I'm not gonna worry about it.
So with that, we're ready to tie an obi. Oh. So the knot we're going to do this time is an otaiko musubi. Musubi just means knot. Otaiko means drum. This is what we're going to be using. I think it's a beautiful shade of blue.
It's one of my favorites.
So the first thing we're going to do is take it and fold one end in half. This is going to be your te. The other end is the te sake.
I'll do that.
Right about there. You'll notice that the pattern disappears after a short ways. That's okay, because that's all going to get covered up. So why make the effort?
You
Figure it
need a
out.
pattern there.
Go around once. Make sure there's some tension on it. I'm going to go around a second time. And now I'm going to turn it around so everybody can see how this is done. All right, so all we do is go around one time and then a second. And this is it. You kind of fold it in half at an angle, like that. This piece, okay. Take, tuck back, and just bring it around. Temporary clip. Very complicated, really tough, very hard to learn.
Almost unattainable to the average person.
Unless, of course, you're a 50-year-old fat man who really has not much else to do. Except stay home and feed your cat. So, this is the te sake. So this is the other end that we're going to deal with now. With this, we're going to use an obibakura. It's just a cushion, fairly tough. It's kidney bean shaped. Nothing fancy about it. We're going to come to a point. The easy way to measure is just to basically do that. And that gives you an idea where you want to be. You want about a finger plus the width. So that's where we want to put our obibakura. You're going to put it underneath. I don't do this every day, so sometimes I forget. You're gonna put it on the front.
You need more kimono in your life.
I need to quit my day job, go fishing a lot, cure color blindness and hardness of hearing. And you just go underneath. And you come up to the top, and that little turn curve thing we did earlier, you sit just on top of it. This is where you want to get fidgety. Make sure everything's nice and lined up. All right. So remember I said you want just basically a width and a finger. I missed my mark. I need to adjust. But I don't have to untie it to make the adjustment. Get your lean forward slightly. There we go. Adjustment made.
Oh, the thing has been saved.
So this is your obi. What's being tied in the front right now is the obi age. It's just a scarf-like item.
Everybody can just be a scarf. Never hurry up.
You tuck it in the top.
Some people like a lot to show. Some people don't like a lot to show. It's kind of a matter of style and taste.
Nothing.
I like a lot to show. He likes to hide most of it.
Okay.
I see you got it. It's wanted.
All right. So if I get you to come back up. So this is also an Otaiko musubi. This is also an Otaiko musubi. You notice it turns back up. You will notice that hers does not. So we're going to put a temporary tie in with this. Is that marijuana? We're going to put this temporary tie in. And what we do is we just come underneath this, flip it under.
You may have a seat. Have a seat.
And you want about one finger, plus or minus, something like that. And then you pass it to your partner in crime, who should be standing in front. And you tie that at the bottom of the obi, because that's temporary. That's going to come back off. That's just to hold it.
You can just tie it ever how you want to. You can just tie it lopsided.
Where are you from?
It just doesn't even matter.
Irmo, South Carolina.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so when you pass this back through, because what we're going to do, if you'll come back up,
Ah, see what's wrong.
is this piece right here passes back through right there. So when you pass it back through, you have to make sure it's on top of the piece you just folded underneath. So you just pass it back through
Kind of cover that.
like that. Now if I take off the koshihimo right now, this thing's going to fall apart.
Like a wet blanket.
We need to take our obijime. This is a corded obijime. It is a more formal obijime. This is a flat ribbon type obijime. It's less formal. You can also tell this is a less formal outfit because it's a kimono, and the kids are kind of a giveaway.
Kicking it.
So what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to pass it over everything except this layer. So the folded piece, the piece we rolled up, the belting, everything is going to get captured by this obijime. We just pass it through. Making sure it's centered on that path. Turn so everybody can see the tying of the knot. There you go. All right. Now remember when I said with a kimono, you always do it what? Leftover rice. What was it?
Left or right. Sorry.
You always put it left side over the right. With your obijime, you do the same thing. So you put the left side over the right, pull it. You take this and just swing it up towards the chin, and then back down. This makes a loop, and you can go through the loop.
Swap hands.
And it makes a nice little square knot.
And there are 8 million different kind of knots you can do.
Square knot.
No, you can do stuff like this. You can make it a heart shape.
Do you know how to do any of those 8 million ones?
I did a heart shape instead.
It is a pink kimono.
See, to me, that. Okay.
Don't worry, my color
So,
is just as
one of the
bad.
things that happened as we did this is you notice the collar slipped. It's a part of our collars hidden. We'll have to fix that. And little things like that. If I had done the job properly, you can take this off. And the knot should stay intact. Sadly, this has taken me 2 years to learn all of this. For how many minutes?
I wasn't timing.
We dressed, what, 5 people in an hour and 20 minutes today? So this way we'll need to settle. We'll need to probably just reach in and grab this and kind of give it a tug out.
Should we unclip her first?
Probably. Do try to remember that if you have a clip on the back of the collar, you need to remove it before you go anywhere. It's kind of like tucking your shirt into your underwear. We still have a little bit of pookiness here. We should have probably dealt with that when we had the chance. But if you're going to a dark and moody theater, nobody will notice. And with that, that's actually how you put on a kimono. Now there are other accessories. There are other accessories that go with kimono that are pretty interesting. This is called the hari. This is the kind of thing. It's just a little jacket. You wear it with kimono, as is evidenced by Mrs. Hakama there. But you can also wear it with Western fashion. So if you had a nice pair of blue jeans, a black t-shirt, it just gives you a nice casual effect. You can kind of go out, look nice.
But you can actually high school.
Yeah, if you see some of them have the pockets sewn. Now, like I said, women's clothing has the open sleeve, but every once in a while you find them with a slightly sewn pocket, and that's so that you can put stuff in here. Otherwise, you don't have pockets. So, kind of unusual.
If you want to get started with kimono or that kind of thing, a hari is a really great thing to pick up because you can just throw it on like a cardigan or whatever. And
But it is
rock
not.
it.
It's not like it's not with silk. You have to be careful about your weapon. They do make weatherproof silk that you can wear, raincoats and rain jackets. So yes. Any questions? No questions. Yes, ma'am. Sorry, you have to ask that one more time.
What's the difference between the kimono that she's wearing compared to all the other girls here?
Okay. So this is a kimono. It's a patterned kimono. It's patterned from the hem all the way up. This is actually a hakama. It's called a hakama. It's a skirt in this case. They also make a version that's pants. And you just wear it over your kimono. The men tend to wear the pants version, and the women tend to wear the skirt version. But in very formal occasions, men will wear the skirt version too. The pants version is usually reserved for martial arts. To be a little more clear.
so I'm just wearing like what they're wearing, but with the skirt on
With
top.
hakama.
So
Now-
you can actually move.
Oh yeah. So in case I need to get down on the floor and do something or whatever.
Yeah, because what you don't know is that she put on her kimono, and then she turned around and grabbed that center seam in the back, lifted it up, and tucked it in the obi. And by doing that, it makes sure that you don't have kimono showing from underneath your hakama. Yeah. So you'll often see hakama with furisode. You just pinch it right about here and lift it up, and then you would tuck it in there. And that lifts it up so that you don't have it peeking out from underneath your hakama.
I had a problem with my hakama showing my kimono, so that makes
That's what you
That's
do.
what you, that's how you solve that problem. And this is just a pretty purple umbrella.
Okay, sorry. So like, I know other Asian cultures, like Japanese is so like, this seems like it would always be a two-person job at least. Is that?
I got dressed by myself today in 20 minutes.
Okay. Yeah.
I actually helped my cousin Yuki for her wedding, and I had to spend about 6 months learning everything. Usually, if you have to do it a one person, where he wrapped ours from the shoulder behind, we actually have to start it from the side, wrap it just like he did in the back, but up front, and then shimmy it to the back.
Well, that sounds
And it actually takes at least 30 to 40 minutes on that just alone. It's not even including getting everything just on before.
But unless you do a lot, because you're going to go crazy. And we, as cosplayers, know how to put on crazy outfits.
So, as an example of what she just said, this is an obi. If we were going to do that, as a matter of fact, since you asked the question, come on up. So you notice when I tied it, I started like that and then came around the waist. If she were doing it herself,
You put it like this, like it's going to bite you on the neck. And you bring it down almost to where it would get caught when you wrap it around. And each obi's different, and each person's different. And like even if you forget to put the padding on, it's different. But you're going to do it like that. And if you're going to wear a new obi someplace special, you probably want to try it out first to get the proportions right.
so you actually tie the knot in the front,
You're going to do this.
and then once you're done, you spin it around. You're wearing another obi underneath. No, I would not suggest this. Also,
You don't want me to, oh, I thought I would just trying to
SS
do it.
Titanic. Does it ring a bell?
Please, you and your request.
I see the iceberg there. Okay.
Do it, man. I know I could.
I believe in her.
Crazy obiness.
I believe it, Kim.
I believe in entertainment value.
See, say, wait.
It was a good question. We love it. Who else has a question? Ask an interesting question. You might get a souvenir. You don't get a souvenir. Women who are pregnant do wear a kimono. They're slightly oversized, and they tie the obi across the breast instead of across the belly. And it'll also be far more relaxed, very casual, you know.
We understand.
You have a question?
Is it just, can everybody can wear a kimono no matter what size you are?
Now, if you're wearing a vintage, you're going to have problems. If you're really over 5'2", you're going to have a problem wearing vintage. So you have to learn tricks.
And now is when we use me as the example.
So
Where's the multi-silk? I was going to show
let's
us.
sit back. So the way kimono are made. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
So I was saying, like, I'm a big person, so I really do like see kimonos and stuff. I always wonder, like, does it dedicate to people my size as well?
Well, you're going to answer the question first. So this is a bolt of silk. You will notice it's only about 12 or so inches wide. The way a kimono is made. Hold your arm up. Okay, so the way a kimono is made, we need a sleeve. There's a sleeve. We need a part for the body. You just flip it over so small and extra small. It's like tall and wide. You know.
I
So there's vendors that
actually
does something.
experienced that with the but it's
Yeah. Yeah, shoes I'm told. Buying shoes, if you're size 12. Hang it up.
Don't wear those sandals that you have to wear are pretty bad too. Like my feet are barely fitting on them.
We may have given out all the handouts.
Oh, yes, we do have some more. You gave them up.
I think, well, here's just a few. You didn't get one?
On the back of the handout, you will actually find a list of vendors. These are vendors that either I know by reputation or Kim and I have used. So Japan is awesome, but they will also take every penny you have.
It's an addictive hobby, so.
You will find yourself sitting up late at night going, the auction ends in 40 minutes, I'm going to wait it out. You're watching like 17 things, they all expire within 8 seconds of each other, and you're just, I'm going to get them all. And then you wonder why you're eating ramen for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, the funny thing is, I ordered something from Ohio Kimono, which is on the list, and the same day I ordered something from So Japan, which is actually in Osaka. So Japan got here like the day after Ohio Kimono. They're that fast. If you order several things together, they combine shipping, upgrade your shipping, and it's EMS, and it comes in no time.
You can get it in 10 days. Yeah.
Hers comes faster because they like her. Being Next question. Okay, let's put it this way. I have a very nice purple kimono here.
Who has a question?
It has a really nice pattern on it. I don't have an obi to go with it. Does anybody have a really good question they'd like to ask that maybe kind of take control of this one? Yes, ma'am.
I know there are like different styles for like different types of women. Like, do they still do that today? Like,
Different styles.
I noticed like some of their sleeves are different. Like hers is like super long, and then hers is like kind of like goes short.
Pop up. And pop up.
Like,
So
what does each one mean?
we have the super long sleeves. This in particular is a furisode. And this is a tomasode with the shorter sleeves. This means married. This means unmarried.
You can look here. Yes, look here and you'll see these terms.
They use black. Kura. So you probably wouldn't wear a Kura for a furisode for a funeral because you really don't want to be advertising, hey, I'm looking for a husband at a funeral. Although maybe you do. I don't know.
Maybe you're trying to.
So you probably wear a tomasode Kura. And again, it would be a Kura. It would be black because it's a very formal solemn occasion. The color of death in Japan is actually not black.
Yeah, that's why I was asking because I was like, sure. Yeah.
It's white.
I do have a question. I heard that there's different colors for different seasons. Do you happen to know the color wheel for that?
Oh, it is lovely and intricate.
So, what season do you think this is?
Fall?
What season do you think this is?
Summer?
What season do you think this is?
Winter?
So it's pretty much the same as ours, the color palette, because the trees do the same things there that they do here.
It can be very seasonal and you can like get down to just
They grow, they age, they disappoint you, and then the frost gets them, and the next thing you know, you're sitting there going, we have no cherry blossoms. All right. I think you won the question on that one. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Decent kimono.
Your life and soul?
How much you got?
define decent. We've got 5 minutes. Define decent.
5 minutes till the next thing, or
Yeah.
50 is quarter till, or 10 or 5 till? All right, we've already run past. I'm going to answer this question, and then I'm actually going to move out in the hall to continue to answer questions for anybody who has them. How much do they cost? These have cost a range. I've paid anywhere from $50. That one I think I paid about 500 and something, but it's now worth $2,000. I had it appraised, so it's now worth $2,000.
Why specifically is it worth $2,000 now?
It's worth $2,000.
Yeah, not so much.
now. Unless of course she sneezes, eats, spills something on it.
Is it because the error was made, or?
It's because of the error and the fact it's in very good condition. You're not eating until you're out. You know, there is no going to get a bowl of broth. No. Any other questions? I'll ask you to meet me in the hall. If you just meet me outside, because
talk
we
all
actually
night.
need to get out of the way. Oh, that's something between you and them.
But let's do the cake room. Thank y'all for coming.